Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another Yoga with Leah. As usual, I'm really excited to be joining you. And to anyone who's new to the community or maybe new to yoga, welcome and thanks so much for joining in. I know sometimes it can feel a little bit awkward or strange to maybe do yoga by yourself at home via video. And I totally understand those feelings. So I really encourage you to try it out. And I want to thank those of you who have been joining in virtually so much for your support. And, just for continuing with this practice and doing what we can in these times. As usual for yoga, you'll want to find a sturdy chair in your apartment. You want something that you can sit down and have your feet comfortably reach the ground, so not have to be reaching down or not have your knees lifting up really high when your feet are down if you're taller. If the case is that a lot of your chairs are kind of high in your apartment, you can always place like a little footstool or something else to bring the ground up to you underneath your feet. I always suggest practicing in your bare feet. Those socks or shoes are also good alternatives if you feel more comfortable. A cautionary tale about socks, just beware that they are quite slippery, and especially for a lot of these poses that will be pressing feet down into the ground, socks can sometimes work against you. So go ahead and find your way into your yoga space. Go ahead and pause any other distractions you might have. Be silencing your phone. Come into your seat and slide a little bit farther forward so your back is away from the back of the chair. Place your feet hip distance apart underneath your knees. Rest your hands comfortably on your legs or in your lap. Allow your eyes to close. Relax your face, your jaw. Allow your shoulders to get a little heavier. Start to turn your focus internally. As other thoughts or maybe distractions come up, circling back to your body and back to your breath. Filling up and expanding out as you breathe in. Emptying completely as you breathe out. Your breath can be any pace that you like. You might choose to make your breath more consciously slow and deep. But whatever pace is comfortable for you this morning, I encourage you to focus on filling your low belly first as you breathe in. Your lungs and ribs expand second. And empty from the top down. In the end, your low belly draws in and up. We will go through a variety of movements today, and some may be more challenging than others. For most of the challenging movements, I will give options that will incorporate lots of different modifications and different levels to meet you where you're at. I encourage you to listen to your body and check in with yourself at each step, staying with a movement or a posture that challenges you, but still meets you where you're at and honors where you're at this morning. You're always welcome to skip a movement if it doesn't seem quite right, or maybe return to this seat, finding ease, finding your breath once more, and joining back in when you're ready. Open your eyes. Bring your arms down by your sides. Lift your chest. Drop shoulders down and back and reach actively down for your fingertips. Press your feet down to the ground. And when you do this, you might feel your legs engage. That's good. And you might feel your seat slide back a little bit in the chair. That's great as well. So keep that feeling. Draw your waistline back to your spine and lift your chest. Maybe feel yourself sitting up a little taller. Use the power of pressing your feet down to extend up through the crown of your head. Keep that. Feet pressed down. Legs feel strong. Waistline to spine, and inhale, arms up. Aiming for arms stacking right over your shoulders, but maybe you stop somewhere along the way. Squeeze biceps in, make your arms even more straight, and keep pressing your feet down. Lift your chest. Get taller, reach up. Big breath in. Exhale, arms down. And then reset. Feet pressed down. Seat slides back. Waistline to spine, lift your chest, drop your shoulders down and back, reach down actively. Inhale, arms up. Stack wrists over shoulders, over hips, and draw your waistline back to your spine. Yes, keep pressing through your feet. Take one more breath in. Exhale, release down. And then a little more quickly, inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. One more time, inhale up. Exhale down. Take your hands to your knees and start to move through cat and cow. Lift your chest, drop shoulders down and back, lean forward. And then round your spine, tuck chin to chest, and lean back. If you find that your spine hits the back of the chair before you've completed your movement, slide a little farther forward in your seat to give you more space. Continue on with these movements, cat and cow. And you might start to add in something different, maybe making a little circle. Maybe one of these movements feels really good, or you find kind of a spot that gets a nice stretch that you like or need. It doesn't have to look any one way. This is sort of just to say good morning to your spine. So take a few more moments to move here. Finish out your last movements and come up to a tall, neutral spine. So back to this seat. We'll return here many times during our flow today. Feet underneath knees. Press your feet down. Feel your seat slide back. Then get strong and tall through your spine. Really nice. Take your left hand to your hip. Take your right arm up. Get really tall. Take a big breath in. Extend up through your fingertips and tilt over. Keep pressing your feet down. Anchor through both sides of your seat and move your top shoulder back. So there can be a tendency to lean forward here. So instead, lift your chest, move your top shoulder back, and then think reach through your fingertips. Come up through center. Take your right hand down, left arm up. Grow tall first. Press feet down and extend up through your hand, and then tilt over. Length through your left side. Use your right hand for support. Move top shoulder back. Keep from collapsing downward. You'll find that as you move your top shoulder back, you might not need quite so much lean over to create a lot of stretch in your side body. Come up through center. Left hand down, right arm up. Switch sides again. Reach up and over. This time, maybe stay here or extend your bottom arm. You can simply reach through both hands like so, or you might bring palms together. Interlace your fingers. Release your first finger and thumb. Move top shoulder back and lift your chest. Come up through center. You can keep your hands interlaced or switch arms. Right arm down, left arm up. So you might be here, you might be here, or you might be here. If you are here, take your bottom arm, press it all the way up to your ear. Don't let your elbow bend. Come up through center, inhale. Exhale, palms to heart center. Big breath in. Exhale, empty out. One more time, inhale. Exhale. Interlace fingers to the webbing. Flip your palms and then press your hands away from you. Working first to press your arms to or towards straight. If your arms don't want to go all the way straight here, if bent elbows creates enough stretch for you, stay right here. If your arms are straight and you have stretch to spare, you may begin to lift your hands up. As you do, press your chest forward, staying tall through your spine. As always, feet press down, seat slides back. Nice. Press up through the heels of your hands. One more big breath in. Exhale, release out. Inhale. Exhale, shoulders down and back. Big breath in. Exhale out. Right hand across for your left knee. Take your left shoulder up, back, and down. Place your hand beside or behind you on the chair. Press your feet down and take your knees wide. So sometimes when you twist, your knees like to do funky things. You might have some of this happening. You might have some of this happening. So keep feet pressing to the ground so knees stack right over ankles. Nice. Lift your chest. On an exhale, untwist. And switch sides. Left hand across for your right knee. Right shoulder up, back, and down. Lift and twist. And again, start to notice from the foundation up. Feet press down. Knees stay in line over ankles. You might have some of this or this happening. So see what you can do to correct. And then from that strong base, extend up as you breathe in and ease into the twist as you breathe out. On an exhale, untwist. Big breath in. Exhale, empty out. Inhale, feet press down. Exhale, hinge forward. We're aiming for shoulders in line over knees. You can keep your hands on your legs for support. You might have stretch to spare and continue to walk your hands down your legs towards your feet, or maybe even hands to the ground. Keep pressing your feet down and notice how when your legs are strong, it feels like the stretch is more intense in the backside of your body. You can have one of these two options. You can keep extending forward through the crown of your head, or you might find it comfortable to round your upper spine and let your neck relax. Tuck your forehead towards your shins. Gently begin to walk your hands back up your legs, rolling yourself upright. Full inhale. Exhale. One more time, inhale, filling up. Exhale, empty out. Take your right leg, extend it out in front of you. Flex and point your foot a few times and roll your ankle out. And then replace your foot. Left leg extends. Flex and point your foot. Roll your ankle out. And replace your foot. Again, right leg extends. Flex and point. Roll your ankle. Replace your foot. Left leg, flex and point. Roll your ankle. Replace your foot. Take your feet just a little closer to you than they have been. So quite a bit of bend in your knees. It should feel maybe like your heels won't reach the ground. And then lift your heels up high. Press down through the balls of your feet. Feel your calves engage. So right on the backs of your legs here. Press feet down even more. Lift your heels higher. And release down. Take both legs out in front of you, quite a distance away. So let me slide back slightly so you can see me. Legs might be straight or almost straight. And then reach your feet forward and down towards the ground. If your feet easily reach down, take your legs a little bit farther. Reach those toes and then flex up and back. Maybe flare your toes out, spread. Again, point your feet, reach down, trying to press the bottom of your foot to the ground, and then come back up. Spread your toes. And then take a few times, maybe making a circle one way or the other. Nice. Finish out your movement. Replant your feet underneath your knees. Sit up tall. You might notice that as we take any seated posture where you have to lift your leg, that you'll start to notice your spine rounding and leaning back. So with each movement and each time we reset with both feet down, think lift in your chest, tall through your spine. It totally is natural. It happens to everybody that you'll slowly round back. So just start to be more aware and work against it and see what you can do. So press both feet down, lift up, start nice and tall, and then right leg extends. Draw your knee up to your chest, squeeze your knee up, and press your chest forward at the same time. Keep pressing your left foot down. Flex your right foot, draw your toes up towards your knee. And then with the help of your hand, your right hand, or without it, open your leg out to the side and set your foot down. Knees still stack over ankles, but now your feet point kind of out to the side. Lift your chest. You might stay right here or hinge slightly forward. You can support with hands on legs, but avoid having hands on knees. Press feet down, hips back, extend out through the crown of your head. Press your feet down to move shoulders back over hips. And then either with the help of your hand or without it, lift your leg, close back off, and set down. Reset in neutral, both feet press down, tall spine, left leg extends. Draw your knee up to your chest, squeeze in. Press your knee towards you and your chest towards your leg at the same time. Press your right foot down. This will help you get a little bit more length in your spine. Then flex your foot, either with the help of your left hand or without it. Open your left leg to the side and set your foot down. It might be a different level of openness for each person, but just go with what feels comfortable and natural for your body. Press your feet down and away from each other. Sit up nice and tall. You might stay here or hinge slightly forward. Your knees, you might feel them coming inward, so press them out. Think knees over pinky toes and press your feet down into the ground. Extend out through the crown of your head. Come back upright. With the help of your hand or without it, lift, close off, and set down. Reset in neutral, both feet press down, sit up tall, inhale. Exhale, empty out. One more time, inhale. Exhale. In your chair, turn to the right so that you're facing to the right wall and your left leg will be close to the front edge of the chair. Then what you want to do, hold on to your chair back and slide slightly forward until your left leg is totally free from the chair. Now take your left foot and start to walk it back. Point your knee down. Wonderful. Your back toe will be lifted up. Your foot might walk back a little farther depending where you're at today or what feels comfortable for you. Also might depend on how tall you are and the height of your chair. So there's a lot of factors that will make this look a little bit different from one person to the other. Glance at your foot. It should be in line right behind your head. Draw your knee into the midline and lift your chest. Then you can stay right here or keep holding on with your right hand. Left arm goes up. Extend up through your spine, sitting up tall, and press your front foot down to the ground. That's going to make you feel a lot more supported here. If you do feel stable enough pressing through your front foot, your right arm might come up to join your left. Take a big breath in. Exhale out. Inhale. Exhale. Release your arms down. Bring your left leg forward. And then you're going to turn back to the front and then turn to the left. So you end up turning to the left in your seat. So sit on your chair The back of the chair will be by your left arm, and your right leg will be close to the front edge. You're gonna scoot forward slightly so your right leg becomes free. Press your left foot down and start to walk your right leg back. Your back heel will be lifted. Your foot might be back a little farther. These are some of the shapes that you might be making here, like so. Remember that your leg needs to be all the way free outside the chair so you have plenty of room to move. So squeeze your knee in underneath you, lift your chest, press your front foot down, and then maybe right arm goes up. Lift up, squeeze your inner thighs into the midline, and if you feel comfortable, maybe left arm comes up to join your right. Tuck your tailbone forward, draw your belly button back, take a full breath in and out. Inhale. Exhale, release out. Right foot comes forward once more. Turn to the front. Hands on your legs. Press your feet down. Lift your chest. Inhale. Exhale, hinge forward. Shoulders over knees. Maybe you start to walk down. Maybe you tuck your forehead towards your shins. Press your feet down, roll yourself back upright. Big breath in, long breath out. Inhale and exhale. We will take a few standing postures now. We'll take Warrior 1 and Warrior 2, which are standing lunges. We will have the opportunity for hands to rest on the chair back or maybe like a countertop in your apartment, a tabletop, or even your walker if you do utilize one. As long as the brakes are on, it can be a really good and sturdy option as well. So we will have the opportunity for hands to stay on something at all times. So I do encourage you to try, knowing that that will be an option. But if you feel more comfortable seated, the lunge we just did where we turn to the right leg forward, left leg back, we turn to the left leg forward, right leg back. That is an option for Warrior 1. When we practice Warrior 2, we'll have our arms out like this and we'll walk our feet out wide. That's how you know we're there. Walk your feet out wide. We've done this several times during class. Arms go out. You simply turn your right toes out, left heel out. Left leg gets straight or mostly straight. Stack up right over your hips, and here's Warrior 2. And we'll make this exact same shape standing up. To switch sides, simply left toes, or left heel in, right toes in, and you set up on the other side. Your torso stays pointing forward the whole time. Your legs change from one side to the other. So that's Warrior 2 in the seat. And again, remember for Warrior 1, we just practiced it seated all together. I just didn't name it like that. That's going to be your option for seated Warrior 1 today. If you're standing up, go ahead and come to behind your chair. I'm going to turn my chair to the side so that you have a little bit of an easier time seeing me. Start with your hands just behind, or hands on the chair back, and you want to stand close enough that shoulders stack over hips, stack over ankles. You can stand comfortably without having to lean forward or back to feel like your hands are a nice base of support. Then step your right foot as close to the chair as you can. Bend your right knee and step your left foot all the way back. Remember, if you're sitting down, this is where you turn to the right leg forward, left leg back, just like I have here. You have two options here if you're standing up. You can make your leg mostly straight and reach your heel down towards the ground. You can also take a little bend in your knee and lift your back heel up. One might be more comfortable than the other. You will feel a stretch in the front of your back leg, but you should not feel pain in your back knee. Square your hips to the chair, lift your chest, and if you'd like, arms go up. Take a big breath in. Exhale, release out. Left foot steps forward, right foot steps back. Reset to neutral, and then left foot as close to the chair as you can. Bend your left knee, Right foot steps back. If you're seated, turn all the way to your left. Left foot forward, right leg goes back. Remember, heel can reach down to the ground, or you might pick your back heel up and bend your knee. Wherever you're at, move left hip away from the chair, right hip forward, and bend your front knee. Tuck your tailbone forward, draw waistline back to spine. Get a little taller, maybe arms up. Big breath in. Exhale out. Inhale. Exhale, release out, right foot forward, left foot back. If you're seated, come back to center and take a forward fold. If you're standing, take your feet hip distance apart, point all 10 toes forward and hold onto the chair firmly. Begin to walk your feet back little by little, and as you do, lower your torso, bringing your body into an L shape. You can bend your knees, extend your spine, press hips back, and reach forward through the crown of your head. You might feel most comfortable with your hands on the chair back, or you might rest your arms on the chair and reach your hands out. If you have enough space, this might allow you to let your head to begin to drop down, getting a little bit more stretch through your spine and shoulders. Begin to walk your feet in, lift your torso as you go, just reversing the movement we used to get in here. If you're seated, bring yourself back upright. Take a full breath in, long breath out. Again, inhale and exhale. Setting up for warrior two. Warrior two, walk your feet out as wide as you can comfortably stand. And this is one of those poses where if you are choosing to wear socks, beware, because your feet may start to slide away from each other. And once that starts to happen, it can be sort of difficult to get out of it. So I might suggest putting shoes on or just popping your socks off for this pose especially. But you want to end up with your toes all pointing forward and really lifting up tall through your torso. If you're seated, feet out wide, and you can do heels in, toes out. Then everybody, right toes turn out. If you're seated, pivot your left heel out a little bit and bend your right knee. Notice how shoulders stay in line over hips. My torso moved very little, even though my knee bent a lot. Take your knee a little bit wider, more over your ankle and more over your little toe, and then scoop your hips forward towards the chair. These two motions oppose one another, so you can do one, the other, widen your knee, tuck your tailbone, and they'll both kind of hide and reveal each other. So you want to keep focusing on each one till you find balance. And then straighten your right leg, right toes in, left toes out, bend your left knee. Again, take your knee a little bit wider, so more over your ankle and your little toe. Scoop your tailbone towards the chair. Making sure that your back leg stays strong. It doesn't have to be 100% straight. And in fact, if you lock your knee out, that can actually make you less strong. So a little bit of bend in the knee will help you keep your back leg engaged and supporting you here. Take your front knee wider, tuck your tailbone forward, widen your front knee, and tuck your tailbone forward. Then straighten your left leg. Left toes in, right toes out. One more time each side. And this time I'll instruct through the arms as well. So bend your right knee. Take it a little wider. Tuck your tail forward. Lift your chest. Make sure your back leg is strong. Maybe one or both arms go out to shoulder height. Reach through your fingertips. Lift your chest. And take a little bit of squeeze together of your shoulders on your spine. Drop your shoulders down away from your ears. Turn your gaze over your right hand. Straighten your right leg. Right toes in, left toes out. Bend your left knee. Bend and widen your knee. Tuck your tail forward. Make your back leg strong. Press through back foot. Lift your chest. Extend out through fingertips. Get a little squeeze together of your shoulders on your spine. Perhaps gaze over your left hand. Then straighten your left leg. Left toes turn forward, hands return to the chair. Walk your feet in just a little closer to each other. If you're seated, keep your feet out wide. Similar to how we folded forward last time, but this time, your feet stay in place. Make sure you have enough space for your torso. Bend your knees a little, send your hips back. And you might pause here with your spine parallel or close to it, somewhere in this zone. Or you might walk your hands down the chair and continue to fold forward. You saw me kind of go to one side to avoid the chair. That's a totally acceptable way to go down. And you can also just step back and create a little bit more space if you feel comfortable being further from the chair. Bend your knees, think hips back. Lean a little more weight forward to the balls of your feet. Begin to come upright. Make sure to take care with your head if you're walking back up your chair to bring your torso upright. And then walk your feet in closer together and step your feet closer to the chair. Take a full breath in. Long breath out. Inhale. And exhale. We take a little bit of balancing here. So start with your feet underneath your hips, a little bend in your knees, and begin by simply shifting the weight side to side, 1 foot at a time, just noticing. As I'm sure you all know, balance is something that can be good in one moment and falter the next. We all have good and bad days when it comes to balance. And so sometimes it's nice to just kind of take a checkpoint, see where you're at today, and then you know which you're dealing with. So come back to neutral, take the weight in both feet, and shift forward to your toes. Your heels just barely lift. And then shift back to your heels. Maybe without lifting the balls of your feet, can you lift just your toes? Balls of feet stay down, but you lift your toes. And then come forward once more, lift your heels just a little bit. Come back, keep balls of feet down, lift your toes. If you feel comfortable, maybe take your hands away and try this. Come forward, lift your heels just a little bit. And then come back, balls of feet stay down, lift just your toes. So pressing down through that big toe knuckle, that's right in the front of your foot, but lifting your actual toe up. One more time, lift up your heels, maybe lifting your heels a little higher this time. And then come back down, press through your entire foot. Shift the weight to your right leg. Send your left tippy toes back behind you. Stay here or hinge slightly forward. And then you might stay here or lift your back foot out behind you, warrior 3. Extend forward through the crown of your head, back through your lifted leg, and think squeeze in your inner thighs. Lower your left hip a little bit. Take one more full breath in, extend out. Then lower your toes first. Bring your torso up second. Step your left foot forward. Shift the weight to your left leg. Slide your right toes back. Stay here or begin to hinge forward. You're welcome to take a little bit of bend in your standing leg. Stay here or back toes lift up. Warrior 3, you might flex or point your lifted foot. Either of these options are good, but you want to make sure that you engage your leg. If your leg is more strong as it's lifted, it's going to make balance much more doable. Extend out through the crown of your head. Take one more big breath in. And then toe lowers first. Torso comes up second. Step your right foot underneath you. Shift side to side. Full breath in. Long exhale. One more time, big breath in. Long breath out. Tree pose, tree pose. You're welcome to stay right behind your chair. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see me better. Put the weight on your right leg. Take your left foot. Either ball of your foot can stay down and just your heel lifts up, kind of near your opposite ankle. You might bring your whole foot up, but still rest your toe on the ground so you have 2 points of contact. You might bring your foot to your calf, or if you can get your foot all the way above your knee, you might place your foot up above your knee. You want to avoid pressing directly into your knee joint. That's just not really kind to your knee joint. It doesn't enjoy that kind of lateral pressure. Make your standing leg strong. Press your foot and leg in together. So no matter where your foot is on your leg, press your foot into your leg. Nice. And then draw your knee farther out to the side. Lift your chest, stand up tall. You might take one or both hands away. And if that seems like a little bit too much, start to lift up just one finger at a time. So maybe you start with 4 fingers down. Maybe you lift your pinky finger first. Maybe you lift your ring finger. Maybe you lift your middle finger or both. You might have both index fingers down now. And then maybe you feel the pressure that you require from those index fingers to be less and less. Maybe even just for a moment, they lift up off the chair and come back down, step down, walk your feet out a few times, and switch sides. Again, you're welcome to have your chair like so just in front of you. But in order for you to see a little better, I'm going to have mine beside me. You may start here, just your heel lifting. You might have your toe down. You might be on your calf, or you might take your foot all the way to your upper thigh. Press your foot and leg in together. Little bit of bend in your standing knee is totally acceptable. Squeeze through the backside of your body and draw your knee out to the side. Lift your chest. And again, maybe you take one or both hands away. Maybe that's okay for you. If it's a little more daunting, go one fingertip at a time. So maybe lifting your pinkies, lifting your ring fingers, coming up to just your index fingers. Maybe you stay there. Maybe that pressure on your index finger gets just a little lighter, floats up for a moment. Back down, step down, walk your feet out a few times. Either from standing or you're welcome to come back to your seat. Crescent pose. Stand with your feet and legs together or almost together, and we've already practiced this seated one time. Left hand can stay on the chair, right arm goes up. Take a big breath in. And tilt over. You can keep your hand on the chair or take hand to hip option, arm extended option, or palms together option that we practiced earlier. All the same rules apply, top, shoulder, back, but if you're standing, you'll notice much more stretch kind of travels down the side body, maybe even into the side of your leg. Come up through center and switch sides. Right hand could be on the chair, on your hip, alongside your ear, or you might take palms together. Move top shoulder back. Expand across your chest. Big breath in. Stay here as you exhale. Inhale up. Exhale, arms down. Big breath in. Long breath out. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. I'm going to take a stretch to isolate one leg at a time. It's called pyramid pose. So stand just behind your chair. Right foot steps forward, and then keep your leg mostly straight. Step your left foot about 1 pace back. So this should be a shorter stance than your warrior one in most cases. Both legs should be straight or almost straight. Press your feet down to the ground and out away from each other. And then squeeze your inner thighs into the midline. Slide your right hip back. Lift your chest. Take an inhale. On your exhale, think hips back. Hinge forward. So you might stop anywhere along the way here. And we're aiming to feel a stretch in the back of your front leg. That's predominantly where you should feel this. Keep squeezing inner thighs into the middle. Draw your right hip away from the chair and extend forward and out through the crown of your head. If you desire more stretch here, and only if you really desire more stretch, lift to the heel of your front foot. You might even just do that exercise where you simply lift your toes and press the ball of your foot down. Release, come upright. Step left foot forward, right foot back, and about just one pace. Again, this will be shorter than your warrior one stance. Should be kind of comfortable. You should feel even pressure through both feet. Press feet down and away from each other. Lift your chest. Hinge from the hip crease. Hips slide back, extend out through the crown of your head. You might pause anywhere along the way here. And you want to think, instead of lean forward, you want to think hinge, hips back, lowering my shoulders. Maybe lifting up to your heel or keeping the ball of your foot down and lifting your toes as we just did in our previous balance work. Hinge upright. Step your right foot forward. Take your feet just underneath your hips. Shift side to side a few times. Everybody go ahead and make your way back to your seat. Come about as far forward in your chair as you feel comfortable with. Rest your feet down on the ground. And then reach your arms back. And you want to hold on to whatever part of the chair kind of feels comfortable for you. And I'm demonstrating a lot of different options. You want something kind of behind you. And depending on what type of chair you have, you may have more or fewer options than my chair is giving me. And it's really going to vary from person to person where you grab onto. There's tons of factors, including like your personal body proportions, as well as how tall you are, being a big one. So drop your shoulders down and back, and then press your chest forward. You should feel shoulders squeezing together in the center of your spine. You should feel a little bit of lift in your chest, perhaps even feel like you're leaning forward. Make sure you're still breathing, able to inhale fully, and empty out with your exhale. Take one more breath in, and then relax out. Take a moment in a neutral spine here. Then two options. Option one, do that exact same thing one more time. So just what you did, do it again. Option two, if that felt pretty good, wasn't too deep of a stretch for you, option two, take your feet just slightly closer to you so they're a little bit more like if you were going to stand up out of your chair. Take your hands behind you on the seat and make sure that there's something that you can press your hands down into. So not necessarily holding onto the sides of the chair, but something where you feel comfortable putting weight on your hands. Drop your shoulders down and back and lift your chest. You might simply stay here. A little bit deeper stretch for the shoulders. You could be holding onto the chair where you did the first time. You might put a little weight in your feet and lift your hips up. Bridge pose. Squeeze shoulders together, lift your chest. Press your feet down, squeeze your glutes, and lift up a little higher. Take one more breath in. Roll down. Place your seat down. Comfortably come upright. Take a little bit of rounding in your spine. Maybe shift side to side. Come upright, inhale. Exhale. One more time, big breath in. Long breath out. One more time, inhale. Exhale, empty out. Take your right leg out. Bend your knees, squeeze it up and in. Stay here or ankle over knee, figure four shape. Flex your foot. You can stay right here. You might keep your hand underneath your knee and see what it feels like to let gravity do its thing. And if that all feels okay, you might take your right hand totally away. Keep your right foot flexed and your ankle strong. So you want to think big toe up and back towards this knee. You want to think pinky toe side of your foot out and down towards the ground. These actions will protect your knee from overstretching and direct the stretch right into your hip. While you may feel what I would call the discomfort of a deep stretch in your hip, you should not feel pain in your knee. So if you do feel pain in your knee, use your hand to support your knee coming up a little higher and focus more on what your foot is doing and getting your shoulders to stack over your hips. This will create more stretch in your hip without the need for your knee to go any lower. Come up and out, draw your knee up to your chest, and roll your ankle out on the way back down to the ground. Then reset in neutral, sit up tall, right leg extends. Left leg extends, the opposite side. Draw your knee up to your chest and cross ankle over knee, figure 4. Flex your foot, make your ankle strong. And you can take your hand to your knee. You might stay right here, maybe just sitting up taller. You might use your hand or nothing to support your knee as it starts to go down. And then here, sitting up nice and tall, again, perhaps feeling discomfort in your left hip, but should not feel pain in the knee. Your ankle and foot do a lot to dictate what's going on with the rest of your leg. So keep coming back to toe to knee, pinky side, out and down. Come back upright, squeeze your knee up to your chest, and release on the way back down. Take a big breath in, long breath out. One more time, inhale, and exhale. Start to get a little bit more comfortable in your seat. If you prefer, you can go all the way back in your chair so your seat back supports you, or maybe just take your feet a little wider, whatever feels good. Allow your eyes to close. Drop your chin halfway to your chest and start to soften your face, your jaw, the space behind your eyes. Feel your shoulders get heavier. Start to soften your breath. Perhaps you've been keeping a deep inhale and exhale this whole time. Allowing your breath pace to get a little bit more easy and soft, less effortful for you to maintain. Allow your breath to return to its fully natural rhythm and breathe itself. Come in to a completely restful position. So perhaps using the chair back for support or even laying down in a supine position on your back. Turn your palms up. Allow your fingertips to curl in. Take a moment here for rest. Shavasana. Begin to deepen your breath. Take gentle movements to fingers and toes. Sit up tall in your seat. Press your feet down. If you'd like, you might even send your arms overhead for one final stretch. And sitting up with shoulders over hips, bring palms together at heart center. We'll close today with the sound Om one time. You're welcome to sing along or listen. Release your air. Full breath in. Thumbs to forehead center. Gratitude for this practice. Namaste. Thank you all for joining in. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. I do have an email here through the community, so you can always reach out to Bolton or through Community Life, or a lot of you know how to get in touch with me in the restaurant as well. So you can always reach out with questions or comments. And thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your day. I hope to pass by you in our community soon. Thanks.